What's up, guys, and how's it popping? In today's video, I'm going to show you all how to make Minecraft and eventually show you all how to make Skywars in the simplest way possible in Scratch. First, what we're going to do is we're going to obviously drop a 30-ton nuke on the Scratch Cat. Well, obviously, Scratch Cat, it's because that is your duty. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make a new sprite. Well, actually, why don't we name this game Minecraft? Let's just do that. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to make, say, a dirt block, right? And so just zoom in, and say the first 4 dots over here. We can just go to outline, I guess. Delete that, and we'll set the color to brown, which we can just set it to this orange and then make it darker, and boom, we have brown. So the first 4 squares, you can make it about, doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to do, when green flag clicked, let's set size to, obviously this is way too small, 400, let's try. We can make this actually, 500, no, 600. Yeah, that's good. And we will place it right here. If you want, you could use my coordinates, which would be here, minus 216, y minus 158. Click the green flag, right, it's there. So what we're going to do now is we are going to do repeat 10, change y by, well, actually we have to calculate it. So right now it's 8 by 8, and what we simply have to do is do 8 times 6, because 6 is whatever, because I have the size 6. So 8 times 6 is 48. So change y by 48. Yeah, let's almost set this to 5 instead. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to simply add a create clone myself. And one more thing, when I start a clone, we're going to hide. And when green flag clicked, we're going to hide. When I start as a clone, we're going to show. Clicking the green flag, boom, just like that. I'm actually going to move this create clone myself on top of the change y by. And just like that, we have 4-ish blocks. As you can see, you have like a 1 pixel difference, so I'm just going to set it from 48 to 47. And just like that, it's gone. And just so we can test for overlapping, we're going to put a forever in here, and it's going to be if touching mouse pointer. Oh, actually, it should be an if, then else. So if touching mouse pointer, dragging it back there, dragging the change color effect by block. We're going to set brightness to, and else it'll be 0, otherwise it'll be 30. Clicking the green flag, we can just, yeah. And lastly, just to get add the ability to delete blocks, we'll slide in if then, and add a mouse down. This would just mean if it's touching and it's clicked, it'll just delete the skull. And what this will simply do is you can now click on blocks to delete them. Sorry about that dog barking. Anyways, where were we? Yes. So, we currently only have 1 column of dirt blocks, and we want more. So we're going to grab in another repeat, and we're going to put it over the repeat 5. And we're going to add in a change x by 47. So what it should be is this. You can double check your work right now. And if we run that, I clearly missed a block. We also need to set y back to minus 158 and clicking the green flag. Just like that, we can have a bunch of these dirt blocks. And right, this is cool and all, but this is this is not Minecraft. So the first thing we're gonna add is some slight variation in the terrain. So there are 2 ways we can do this. The simple way, well, they're both quite simple, but the simplest way is just to grab this pick random, and we can do, for the repeat 5, we can do pick random 4 to 6. putting that in there. Just like that, we have these new blocks like this. What we can do, I'm actually gonna change it from 47 to just 46 to get rid of those pixels that we're seeing. Yeah, that fixed it. Yeah, so now there's some slight variation. Before I make anything complicated, I just want to fix the very obvious issue, or actually, two obvious issues. One, this isn't long enough, so I'm going to set it from 10 to 11 blocks wide, and that fixes that issue. The other issue is that, like, the world is generating quite slowly, so we can actually make this instant by just making a block. So go to My Blocks over here, and click Make a Block, and we can call it Generate, or literally anything, but I'm calling Generate, and very important is clicking Run Without Screen Refresh, so there's a check, and click OK. Now, simply grab, really, we can just take these repeats. No, I'll take from Go To, put that in Generate, and then put Generate in here. This will make it generate instantly, and you have a bunch of worlds you can pick from. But in Minecraft, you generally don't have these 2-block wide gaps. So what we can do is we can create a variable that will more smoothly create these variations in terrain. And we can call this, delete my variable, we can create a new variable and we can call it variation. I've clearly spelled it wrong, but that's important. And I'm just going to simply do for this sprite only to make it simple. When green flag clicked, set variation to 0. And for define generate, right? We can do repeat. We're going to go to operations, just add a plus. And we're going to do one, we're just going to type 5. And the other, we can put in variation. Right now, it's just going to be a flat line. But then we can add change variation right in the bottom here. We can do pick random -1, -1 to 1. Oops. And now that we've done that, it's much smoother terrain generation. But as you can see here, there is an issue. Sometimes it will just like go all the way off the end. And this is not good. And there is a way we can fix this. We can add boundaries. We can do simply over here we can do if, well actually we should definitely use an if else. So if variation, let's grab a less than. Actually, we'll need an and. A less than and a greater than. This won't get too complicated. Basically, what we want it to do is not go too low or go too high. So basically, it'll be if variation is less than, say, -3. Oh, I did this wrong. If variation is less than, say, we want the max to be 7 or 8, and variation is greater than, say, -3, it will do this. Otherwise, if I'm going to duplicate this, variation is less than 8, meaning if not, sorry, we'll need a not. If not, variation is less than 8, meaning it is higher than 8, it is too tall. We can say change variation by simply pick random -1 to 0. And we'll duplicate this, just right click, duplicate. Slide that directly under. And this time pull that out, not the not, just the less than, and replace them, duplicate this, variation greater than -30, duplicate that, put that in there. and replace this -1 with 1. So now when we run it, it doesn't get too extreme. Though 8 is quite high, I'm realizing now, so we can replace this with 7. Simply to do that, everywhere we wrote 8 over here, we can just write 7. And running that, we have this beautiful terrain generation. But as you can see, it's all dirt. And in Minecraft, it's not all dirt. So what we're gonna do is we're going to first go to costume tab and replace the name costume 1 with dirt. And we're gonna duplicate it, make a new one, and we'll call this one grass. And all we're gonna do simple is grab the color green and make the top of this green. It doesn't have to be exact, as you can see mine absolutely isn't, but it just has to look like this. And we can also go here and name the sprite blocks. Now what we can do is, actually I want to make a new block just to make this look more simple. As you can see, this whole variation scripts, they look pretty ugly. So we're just going to make a new block, call it vary. It doesn't have to be run without screen refresh. And we can just slide everything starting from underneath set Y2, put that under vary, and just drag and vary where all that was. Now it's much cleaner. Now, over here, we can write switch costume at the top, switch costume to dirt. And I'm going to duplicate this and delete everything under the repeat. And I'm going to put it directly under the repeat. And this time I'll replace dirt with grass. And here, where we have 5, I'm going to do 4, and here I'm going to do 1. Or 2. And when we run it, we have grass generation. There is one problem though, as you can see, it's going to the negatives. So we can fix this. We can do, instead of a repeat plus variation, we can just say 1, because that's how Minecraft works. And so now, running it, it's much more good, I want to say. We have grass on the top. Now to add stone, what you may want to do. First of all, we go into costumes, duplicate dirt, right click via, and we'll just name it stone. And we can fill in the color as gray, which if you can do by setting saturation to 0 and making the brightness less. Now I'm going to duplicate this as we've done before. Get rid of everything under the repeat. Place it, this time, above the dirt. Name it stone. And I actually want to grab variation and put it here. And set this to 3. And here we can do 2. I'm going to stop here for a second so you can copy down all of this. Awesome. Now running the script, we can see we have stone. Fairly neat. It is slightly higher than I'd like. So what I'm gonna do is set this 2 to be, set this 3 to 2. Now clicking the green flag, it should be on average, in most worlds, a block lower. And this 2 to 1. Now running, these worlds are much lower. And also going to the variation, 7 is clearly way too high, so instead it's a 5. Replace 7s with 5s. Yeah, these are very nice looking worlds. And just like that, we've made Minecraft. No, I'm kidding, because we are missing something very important, which is obviously the player.